Hi, I'm King Alice and welcome to my rabbit hole again. We are going to be reviewing books today and we're just going to get right into it because we don't mess around with that sort of thing here. The first book I'm going to be reviewing is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and if you haven't heard of this book, I don't know what you're doing with your life. So before we get into it, I want to talk about why I read this book because it was read for a whole bunch of things. I read it as part of a book club on Bibliophile Features Amino app, and I read it as part of my 2018 book challenge under the category of current events because it, Tomi Adeyemi based a lot of this book off of police brutality, so I thought it would work well with that. And it was also read as part of my Royal Courts and Theme month, so it just did so much for me this month. And we're gonna look at the cover art real quick because it's beautiful. And just look at that. Look at it. Look at it. I want you to look at it. Sorry. I apologize for that. But now we're gonna take the dust jacket off. Just look at it. It's so pretty. It's just so pretty. It's currently the background on my phone and my Facebook cover photo because I'm just obsessed with it. So, this book, which is amazing by the way, is about a world in which the gods gifted certain people with magic, like the magic of life and the magic of light and the magic of water and things like that, magic of death, things like that, and not other people. And there was kind of like some animosity between the magi, the people with magic, and not magi, muggles, no magi, whatever you want to call them. And the king in this book didn't like the magi and went on this like crazy rampage and killed them all and destroyed magic in the process because that's what you do. Like you kill people because you don't like what they have. And he didn't kill the children of the magi because some moral compass told him don't kill kids. And 11 years after that purge, we follow our first narrative character, Zelly, who has been given a job by the gods to collect these 3 magical artifacts and go to the sacred temple and perform this ritual and bring magic back to all of the magi so they can fight against the king and his royal guard and not be persecuted anymore. And she does this with the help of our second narrative character, Princess Amari, whose best friend slash maid was a magi, and she wants to see magic return because she thought it was beautiful and lovely and all sorts of great things. And Zelly's brother Zane, who's not a narrative character but is in it quite a bit, he also helps. Our third narrative character, Prince Enon, is Amari's brother and the crazy king's son, and the king gives him the job of finding Amari and killing Zelly and destroying the artifacts and making sure that magic just never returns to the land. And it's just so good. It's full of romance and adventure and magic, and it talks about like super important details and just challenges that we face in our world today, that if you're not reading this book, you need to be reading this book so you can just get just such a good grip on all of those issues. And also, a lot of this book was based in folklore and legend and places and names from Africa, which is so great because I haven't read a book with African folklore, and it was amazing. It definitely didn't disappoint, and it definitely opened my eyes to a whole new genre that I'm going to want to start reading. And just look at this. It's just so pretty. So it's great, and you should check it out, and you should definitely buy it or check your libraries for it or something like that because it's amazing. The second book we're going to be reviewing is The Selection by Kiera Cass. And everyone's read this already. But me. Until right now. And we're going to talk about it. So you get to see what I think this book is about, and I bet you've already read it. So basically the selection is about this futuristic dystopian world where there's this caste system. So a 1 is like a royal or a noble or something, and an 8 is a homeless person. And everybody just sprinkles in the middle. So as you go down the caste system, your life gets worse, basically. And the selection is basically like The Bachelor. It's a reality show and everybody gets to watch it. So it's basically The Bachelor. Except for instead of all the girls just kind of pining after one random guy, they're kind of pining after the prince. So it kind of like makes it a little bit more entertaining, I'd say. I'd say that would be a great show. That we should definitely, I think about, bringing to society. And our main girl, America Singer, who true to her name is a singer. And she's just not feeling it. She's not into it. She likes the life the way it is. She's, happy-go-lucky girl. But her parents kind of push her to do it because you get compensated if you go. And she's cast 5, so they're kind of like not doing great. They could use the money. And her secret boyfriend kind of pushes her to do it because he's like, oh, but like America, like you're, like life's gonna be better if you're not with me. So like, he kind of pushes her to do it. So she does it. And basically the book's just like her journey, just living in the palace and meeting the girls and meeting the prince and kind of, it's definitely an introduction book. You don't really get into the nitty gritty of the plot just yet, but it's definitely charming and it's definitely so good. And I loved it so much. And you definitely should read it if you haven't read it yet. And if you haven't read it yet, then you need to get on it like I did because everyone else has read it already. So those are my 2 books that I read, that I reviewed, and they were both great and you should check them both out. And if you liked what I had to say about just books or listening to me ramble with my high-pitched annoying voice, then you should definitely like this video. And if like you really were entertained, then you should definitely subscribe to me. And if you really you were just, your mind was just blown with how incredible this just beautiful setup was that took me all of 5 minutes to put together, then you should leave a comment about it because that would just warm the cockles of my heart. Just make me all warm and fuzzy inside. So you should definitely do those types of things. And I will see you next time when I do something else. Who knows what it's going to be? It's going to be a surprise. I'm going to surprise myself too. So